Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to That Fallout Show, right here on We Just Love Games Network. You are listening to episode 70.
Ooh, I like that. I love
The
that.
title is I Hate It Up Here. Shalene, you're going to have to give us some context for that. So,
that is a quote from the episode, and I also felt that it really fit with how we're all feeling about life right now.
yes, that is correct. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm feeling all right.
That lovely gentleman you hear speaking is Rick McVick, one of our co-hosts on the show. I am Vendertron, and also we are joined by Shalene this evening. Hello, Shalene.
Hi.
So how you doing?
Who?
Guys,
Which one?
it has been probably the worst 2 weeks of my PhD career.
I am so sorry. No one.
All
deserves
of
worst
the
2 weeks.
funding applications that I spent applying for in the last year all came back not approved in the last 2 weeks.
Oof.
That's great.
I
Just
lost
great. Love that for you.
Wonderful year.
I lost a committee member, a co-supervisor.
Like
I
they
have-
quit or they're dead.
No, they literally were like, I can no longer provide supervision for you for your PhD.
Oh.
Sorry.
So they quit, but if they turn up dead, I was with you.
Okay.
PhDs make
Just
no
saying.
sense to me. Like-
And then yeah, so the reason why I have to switch departments now, which is like this whole thing, and it means that I can't finish my program before September 27th. September 27th is important because that's the deadline for tuition. So, I'm going into the fall tuition and I have
You
to
have
come
to
up
pay another semester of tuition.
I have to come up with $3,000 by the end of September.
So you're paying for school, right?
Yeah.
And your teacher just decided to go, can't teach you anymore? Is that just what
Supervisor.
happened?
It's not a teacher. So the
don't
supervisor's like
understand
a expert researcher who mentors you as a student through your dissertation and your research. But
Uh-huh.
his research, his argument is that he doesn't have the right expertise that matches my research specifically, and that's why he wants to take a step back. It's a good thing because I shave off an examiner, but it sucks because I have to do this shuffle, and it creates all these problems. So it's been a really crappy 2
Oof.
weeks.
Yeah. that
I'm
sounds
glad to
awful.
be here, though. Yeah. Shalene, how are you doing? You're frozen in time. Did we lose Shalene? It is possible that we
I
lost
think
Shalene.
we did. I think her internet went poof. That's for sure.
Rick, how are you doing lately?
Oh, she blue screened.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
No, I'm doing good. I did a dumb thing a few days ago. I bought 3,000 records.
Hey, that's great. I'm
Um,
just gonna like shuffle.
it was
this over
cheap.
here.
I went through a lot of Dino, a lot of Dean Martin, some Frank
Nice.
Sinatra in there. Yeah, there was some gems, a lot of crap, some gems. a lot of
3,000
Hawaiian
records or $3,000 worth of records?
No, 3,000 records for $100.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good
yeah,
deal.
yeah. No, it was fun. A buddy of mine from work came to help me load them, so that's fine. That was fun, and we get there and we were headed to the garage area, and I'm like, oh, sweet, they're in the garage, ground floor. And then he turns and goes into his house, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, they're in the house. And then he turns and starts walking downstairs, and I was like, sir, are all these downstairs? He's like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh, crap. So I turned to my buddy and I was like, I'm so sorry for this. It was
That's
like,
awesome. So
so many crates.
I mean, you're probably still going through them.
Nah, I went through them already.
Any valuable?
Oh, I haven't looked
records?
that part up yet, but
Okay.
I don't think so. No, there was no, yeah, I was like hoping maybe for like a Sun record here or
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
but very few 78s. You know,
Yeah.
but it was still fun little jaunt.
We
So,
have
it was-
Shalene back on the line.
Hello.
My computer blue screened.
We'll see how this goes.
So
It
Don't
blew
worry
chunks.
about it.
That was
We've got it under
awesome.
control. Rick and I have just been sitting here talking
was
about
great.
records, not doing a
Oh,
show
yeah.
at all. But
yeah,
oh, it's good.
and work's been
Um,
crazy. But it's been good.
Shalene, how's life, other than blue screen of death?
There have been a couple of times where I was pretty sure my life was gonna blue screen, but we're doing okay. I did buy a new car.
Hey, that's good.
I bought a new car and then I
Yay.
immediately had a minor accident in the new car.
Aw.
So that was fun. Really enjoyed that.
Wait, you
Haven't
started a new
even
job
named the
too.
car yet. I did. I started a new job. Yeah.
And
I think I've talked to the people since I started the new job, but I definitely haven't talked to you since I started the new job.
okay.
Correct.
And it is a good job.
Oh.
I like the job.
Yeah.
The job is very, very stressful and very difficult, but it's also like I feel like I matter.
Yeah.
Oh,
know,
that is so
it's-
nice.
It's
It's so
the
nice
work
to have
is
a purpose.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
The work
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
worthwhile.
Oh,
And
good.
it pays much better and I like my coworkers more. And
Oh.
so it is difficult and stressful.
Yeah.
But it's a better situation for a number of reasons.
Liking your coworkers
Um,
makes all the difference. All the difference.
Doesn't it?
Oh my
Doesn't
gosh,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
I think
And
it's
I have
Having coworkers
my
makes
boss
a
is
difference.
my boss is the guy that I used to call cool millennial boss,
Oh
at
yeah,
my other
yeah.
job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we talk about video games and stuff and
I love it. I was
um
like, "So, Shalene, how's the office space? You know, are you liking it?" She sent me pictures of like counters that were like covered in like file boxes and like loose papers
chaos.
and
Oh,
like
it's
a can of
chaos.
shaving cream and like a little award that says like happy hour award or something. And I'm
It's a
like,
giant flask that belongs to my boss.
like this is
It's like a
definitely
flask that holds a fifth.
this office has been run by men up until Shalene got there. And
On my
she's
second
gonna
day
whip
at the
it into shape.
job,
It's gonna be
the
great.
mayor came in and he said, "Oh, I can tell there's a woman in this office now because it doesn't smell like dust in here."
Dust. That's not what I thought he was gonna drop, but all right, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad.
Nice.
I'm glad. Welcome to everybody coming in to the chat. You're listening to That Fallout Show. As I said, episode 70. I hate it up here. The show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget to help us promote the show by sharing us on social media, sending us some emails, liking, subscribing, and retweeting, telling your friends about the show, but also navigating to the Twitch page in our About section where you can join our Discord. And the Discord has been very busy this week, filled with puppies and cute pictures of plants and yeah, Animal Crossing and Simone Biles achievements in
Dude.
measures of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Anything but the metric system.
I
I posted a meme where they measured the height of her jump in copies of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
It's
I
brilliant.
like that.
Yeah, it's
I
very
don't know
good.
how she jumped that high. That was like boing.
She's an amazing athlete. She's an amazing because that was like from the ground,
Yeah.
12 feet in the air. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
mhm.
Did you
Ridiculous.
not to derail, but to derail? Did you see the dude from Turkey who won silver for shooting?
Yes, I loved
Dude,
that.
that
Such
guy
a
is
boss.
like,
He just shows
oh,
up. Just shows
Yeah.
up.
Oh, that was today. All right.
I wonder if he's a dad.
Silver. All right. Oh,
He is a
has to-
dad.
I feel
has
like
is
to
he
a
would
be.
be a
dad.
dad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Has
Like,
to be.
Yeah, I read an
Almost shoulda
article
had a
about
kid on his
him.
hip. Like,
I read an article about him and it said that he started participating in shooting because he was going through a bad divorce. So that was like how he
Mm.
channeled his bad feelings and that he
Uh-oh.
was just trying to, well, no, not in that way, but he was shooting at
No
targets,
wonder he's
okay?
accurate as anything. It's
yes.
like,
But
correct.
his goal was just basically to get himself into a place where he could have a weekend with his kids. And
aw,
now he's an Olympian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Olympian
That's
silver
awesome.
medalist.
that's awesome.
I kind of I'm proud today because the Canadian mixed doubles team in tennis, Felix
Oh, nice.
Auger Aliassime and Gabby Dabrowski won bronze today,
Nice.
ending the Canadian tennis Olympic medal drought. We haven't had a tennis medal from the Olympics since like 1988 or something.
Wow.
So it's kind of a big day, but yeah, it's
How
been
about that?
nice watching
Sorry, go ahead.
Olympics.
How about that Gojira Marie Antoinette opening?
Oh,
I
that was
didn't see
great.
much of
I
that.
thought that was fantastic. Yes.
My favorite part of the Olympic opening ceremony situation was seeing the memes about the rats who had crawled up from the sewers to watch. And the memes were saying, like, oh, that's the catering team.
Yes. Yes.
Ratatouille.
There's a thing on, I don't know if it's just strictly with the tennis, but people will wear a little rat on their shoulder with a little chef's cat, like just a little
Oh,
stuffed. Like, it's cute.
that's
I
adorable.
like that.
Yeah. Anyways, Olympics are a thing, but we also have a show to talk about. We are going to roll through some news very briefly. Shalene, I believe, has a lore and weapon of the week segment. And we're going to cover some news and then go through everybody's favorite part of the show, which is episode 5 of that other
Yes,
Fallout
but
show.
before we do that, we have something we have not had for a little while, a 5-star review shout out. Yes. We like to do a shout out anytime somebody gives us a 5-star review on iTunes. And I just wanted to read this one from Texas Toast 124 via Apple Podcasts Canada. And Texas Toast says, I've played every Fallout, and it's good to have people who make a good podcast for a good game series. I really enjoy Vendortron because I remember buying Esther and Two Step Goodbye. Just love that weird and
That's great.
wacky welcome, sir or madam.
Yeah, it's the best. He's the only character of his kind. Ironically,
Mhm.
because he's a robot and
that's
there's
true.
millions of them all over the wasteland, but he's the only one that's like encased in a shed for his entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a metaphor.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So thank you for your review, Texas Toast.
Yes, thank you for your review. How
Very
can people leave a 5-star review? Shout out, Shalene.
You can leave a 5-star review by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. And if you leave text, then that's how we're able to see it. If you just leave a rating, we can't see your name, so we can't shout you out. So you have to leave some text.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can do ratings on like Spotify and some of the other platforms as well. If there's a way to check those, I don't know about it because we're old. But we would appreciate your ratings and reviews there as well.
Wow.
Nice.
I don't even know. Any new people in the Discord, or shall we hop right into the news?
Let's move right along.
All right, let's hop into the news.
If you like news, you're gonna love our next segment.
Take it away, Shalene.
So there's actually not very much news right now. I just wanted to do a couple of brief mentions. These are things that we have covered on GameStack Podcast. If you don't listen to GameStack Podcast, listener, you definitely should. But we just we covered these previously, so I wanted to cover them briefly here. That other Fallout show, the one that we're here to talk about today, 16 Emmy nominations.
Woo! I didn't know that.
That's a bunch of Emmy
there,
nominations.
I was like, we have 16 Emmy nominations? Really? But then I realized I'm not the main character.
Finest robot in an audio podcast.
I think this is
100%.
awesome. 16 Emmy nominations, much deserved. What are your thoughts on that, Shalene?
I think it's great. Yeah. As we discussed on GameStack, I feel a little bad because we're just kind of going over a discussion we've already had. But as deserving as Walton Goggins is of his nomination, I am a little disappointed that I've blanked on her name, the Lucy character.
Ella Purnell.
Ella Purnell. I am a little disappointed that Ella Purnell did not receive an Emmy nod.
How did she
right.
not?
She was amazing, but she did
How
not.
does the show get
Mhm.
16 and she is not one of those 16?
What
Mhm.
the hell?
And she's the female
great.
protagonist in the show.
Mhm.
I think.
Wait, did what's his face? The dude who
Yes.
played the Brotherhood of Steel guy?
No, Goggins.
No, Goggins.
Oh no, yeah, he had that I get. But
And
did
he's
the brother-
deserving. We understand.
Sure,
We're not
sure.
saying he shouldn't have had it.
But-
I just think that Ella Purnell was also deserving.
Yeah. But the dude that played the Brotherhood is Maximus. He didn't get any, did he?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay,
I
cool.
didn't even link the article on this because I thought we were going to spend so little time on it. Fallout show Emmy nominations.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jodie Foster getting a nomination for whatever movie she was in.
Okay, we're
over
just
Ella
gonna roll
Purnell is a
through
bit
the different
strange.
nominations. Ready, guys? They were nominated for Outstanding Fantasy Sci-Fi Costumes. That's a
Makes
good
sense.
one. Outstanding Stunt Coordination for Drama Programming.
Ooh.
Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative Period or Fantasy Program. Outstanding Picture Editing for a Drama Series. Outstanding Picture Editing for a Drama Series for another episode of the show. They were nominated for both The End and The Ghouls, which is the show we talked about last week. Outstanding Main Title Design.
Oh yeah.
Outstanding Period or Fantasy Sci-Fi Makeup, specifically for the episode The Head.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Outstanding Prosthetic Makeup. And Mr. Goggins was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. And Rick, you should see this headshot they have next to this. It's just the smolder, the Walton Goggins smolder. They were nominated
Rick's swooning over there.
They were nominated for Outstanding Drama Series,
Yeah.
Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or Drama Series, Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or Drama Series, Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a Season or a Movie, Outstanding Stunt Performance. This is specifically for the Target episode, which I think was the one where they fought the Yaogwai, and then they had the big fight scene in the
Okay.
town.
Yeah.
Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series, and Outstanding Music Supervision.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know about the sound mixing part of it, but I don't know if they're going to win or not. But yeah, one thing I did notice is I didn't necessarily need subtitles on this one. This whole like loudness wars led to a dynamic range war where like all of the talking in movies and TV now is like this, and the explosions like it's just like
it's
guys,
horrible.
That's
Stop.
why I have to listen to the audio setting on my TV at adaptable, so that
It's so
it
bad.
makes the talking
It's
louder,
so
but the
bad.
explosions less. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just adding compression that you should do before you put
well,
the movie out,
16
guys.
Emmys. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in wealth. So
That was bloody brilliant. I don't think
Whew.
anybody used
Whew.
that headline, and I just hats off to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Hats off. I'm so
If I
proud
wore
of
a
you
hat,
right
I'd
now.
take it off.
I don't know if I've ever been more proud of you than I am in this moment.
I think there's one Emmy that we need to talk about, because I will not sit by idly, Shalene, and accept that Dog Meat was snubbed.
Oh, that's true. Damn.
Yes.
I feel like an honorary Emmy needs to go to the dog.
Hell
Just-
yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Just because he's a good boy.
Like-
I think
like a
the dog
squeaky
will
Emmy that he can
probably
chew.
win. Oh, a squeaky chewable Emmy?
He needs a
Oh,
squeak.
And they
that's
bring the
so
dog out. They bring the
cute.
dog out on the stage, and he's a good boy, and they give him a treat, and they give him his squeaky toy, and he says a few
squeaky
words.
Emmy.
Yeah.
And then he goes away.
That's there's never been a more wholesome image in my head than there is right,
Right?
now.
I feel
This
like
is the healing the
Emmys,
world needs.
the
Is
Emmys-
dog meat on
Yes.
stage.
the Emmys would
With a squeaky
completely
Emmy.
they would completely rekindle viewership if they gave an Emmy to a dog.
They could do like a best dogs in cinema and just give them all squeaky toy Emmys.
All of them gets an
Mhm.
award. Yes.
Yes,
all of
because
them.
they're all good boys and
All of
girls
them
and they
are good.
deserve it.
Yes, agreed.
This would be like the puppy bowl. Okay, moving along, folks.
Right.
We have one other minor bit of news, which is not that minor. Fallout London is out. The Fallout London
Oh,
Fallout
yeah.
4 mod has released, and many people have played it. I've heard nothing but good things. I have
Mhm.
not had time to play it yet. My life has been car shopping and Pokemon Go and my
And
stressful
the
job.
body shop shopping.
Yeah, now I get to. Okay, so when I bought the car, it was like after work, right? So by the
Uh-huh.
time we were finalizing the car purchase,
It was
it's
like
like
bedtime.
10:30 p.m.
No,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a long process.
They
And
don't go into a
so-
dealership at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
No.
Shalene,
The
come
guy,
on.
I went at 6.
Oh my
6.
God.
So the guy tells me like, hey, the guys who detail the cars are gone. But if you bring it back in, we'll have it detailed detailed
You
for
should
you.
bring
So
it
like
back in and show him the damage and be like, "Can you buff that out?"
that's the plan. That's the plan. I was talking about like, yeah, I'm gonna take it back in, and they're gonna be like, you don't deserve this car. We're taking it back.
Yeah.
No.
You should be like, "Is this under warranty?" Because
Mhm,
I was driving it and it just crumpled. Like
yeah.
I turned
I
too
hit a-
fast and it.
I hit a spot of gravity and went.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want to cry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Fallout
Fallout
London. Rick,
London.
Have you played it, Rick?
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Has you played it? No.
No, I've been stuck in Cyberpunk again.
Mhm.
I
Really?
noticed
Oh,
you've been
yeah.
online
Gosh, that-
playing
oh,
Cyberpunk.
man.
Yes.
We don't hang out enough, Rick, because I don't even know what you're playing anymore.
We don't even know you
I don't.
anymore.
Cyberpunk
Do you still have
and
one
Uno.
child?
Yeah,
Just the
yes.
one? Yeah.
Just
Just
the
the
one.
one? Okay.
Does she have any
Guys.
children?
Guys,
Does
it
she
doesn't
have any
work anymore.
children?
Can't have it anymore, guys. It's over for me. So, one,
Arguably, you got
done.
the better end of that deal.
I
Maybe.
did.
Yeah.
We were actually discussing today that if it wasn't for me, like if Sarah had a significant other that was as smart as her, right?
Mhm.
Evie would become, let's say, a Homelander type character if you watch The Boys, or a Hitler type person, because
An
she'd be
evil
so smart,
genius.
awful.
An
I
evil.
am
So
that-
you
I'm
tempered
that
this
dumbed
child.
down.
Yeah.
I'm such a dunce that I've made this child human, right?
Yes, you brought her
you know,
down the bell
I
curve
did,
just a
I did.
smidgen.
Yeah. Like she is in pre-algebra. She's getting 3 years of math in 1 year. This coming
Isn't
year.
she awfully young for pre-algebra?
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
like,
she's
yeah.
not that. She's a kid. She's not.
So she's two grades ahead in math,
Dang.
but she wants to work at my job. See, this is how I know I've dumbed her down. She's like, I'm super brilliant, could be a mathematician, but I want to
Mhm.
work in the touring industry with a bunch of idiots. And I'm like, yeah, same.
That's adorable.
Otherwise, she'd be
I
That's
mean,
really
but
cute.
yeah,
there
so
are arguably idiots in every industry, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I know. But no, I've been I've just been playing Cyberpunk, and
yeah.
Uno.
Well, anyway, we miss you, so hang out with us.
You know.
And that's all I have for the news.
Okay, well, let's hop into the episode. It's called The Past, episode
Ooh.
5 of that other Fallout show.
I'm excited for this.
And it's just past the halfway point of the first season. Things are starting to get a little bit more heated up in the last few episodes of that Fallout show. You have heard us talk about a lot of the character development and the set design and things like that. And yeah, today we're going to talk about episode 5 and unpack that. So, Shalene, are you gonna walk us through this?
Absolutely not.
episode?
That's can you do it?
Sure, I can. Absolutely. Yeah, so the episode opens
Oh,
up
yeah.
with the Brotherhood of Steel
Yeah. they're talking.
and Johnny Pemberton is Thaddeus, if you remember, who is quickly become like one of the
A bit of a
popular
fan favorite.
yeah.
characters of the show.
Yeah. And they're having a big celebration because they've achieved the target. And
Yep.
Thaddeus asks to be branded because who's he pretending to be? I can't remember.
Max-
Knight Titus.
Titus. Knight Titus
This-
brands his squires.
Yeah.
This scene kind of bugs me a little bit
Mhm.
when the reveal comes that Maximus has been pretending to be Thaddeus. First of
Mhm.
all, he brands them, and then he's like, maybe I should tell him the truth now.
Yes, the fact that
And-
he branded him and then immediately broke the news
And-
seemed like such a terrible move.
And
Like
then, like,
so
what's-
rude.
Move. Yeah.
What's frustrating is like he was just like, dude, they're gonna kill you, and Maximus should have been like, he was killed by a Yao Guai, and I didn't want to fail my mission. Like he
Mhm.
he blows this opportunity to work with him. He's like,
Mhm.
gotta
I
get
mean,
her
I
story
love
straight.
I love Thaddeus and his character, but I really can't get past the porn stash.
I know it's a bit rough.
It's
bit
bad.
it's a bit rough.
It's really
I
bad.
maintain that Maximus is rocking like an intelligence of maybe 2
Has
max.
to 1, 2 is generous.
Hmm. He gets the special dialogue options for low intelligence.
And he also has idiot savant.
Yes.
Clearly. But I hated this scene. And like I don't know if they wrote it because Maximus is an idiot or if they were just trying to move the plot along
Mm-hmm.
to get to where they're going with Thaddeus.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it could have been done better. Like maybe they did team up and then he got injured a different way. But like it's just I don't know.
I would like to
just bugged me.
see more development between Maximus and Thaddeus in terms of like a friendship. He hates him.
Right.
He hates him at first, but as we move
Could
into
be
the second,
bros.
as we move into the
I
second
fully
season,
agree, yeah.
he comes around because Thaddeus was like a bully to him, and
Mhm.
Maximus is, I mean, he extended an olive branch by revealing
Mhm.
his true identity to him, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Well-
and it didn't end well for him, but maybe
It
that's
really
because he
did not.
branded him before he told him. Like,
That was so rude
I
because
feel
that was
like-
the opportunity to be like, well,
I'm not
I'm
going to
not
do
going to
this.
brand you with the T because I'm not actually Knight Titus.
Yeah.
Right. But again, Maximus has a intelligence of 1.5 and the olive branch was a proverbial irradiated rod of,
It was
whatever,
the
but,
mole
like,
rat bat. Remember the
the
mole
mole
rat
rat-
bat from Fallout
the
3?
mole rat bat.
Just give
with-
him a
with,
little
like,
tap. It'll give him a feel bad.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was funny with this, is that when the power core is removed, the whole armor just shuts down into standby mode and you can't even get the user out.
Yes. Yeah. I
Doesn't
love
that
it.
feel like a design flaw?
Yeah.
It does. Like
Yeah.
there's no emergency exit latch. He's just
Yeah.
stuck.
Anyway, so that's the intro, and then it switches to the next scene. Actually, the Fallout lettering in this episode is weathered sort of metal.
Peeling
that's
paint.
rusted, peeling paint. In the previous episode, it was like singed lettering and like
Mhm.
embers.
This one
so-
reminded me of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a good peeling about this episode.
It's gonna be a blast. Anyways, so Thaddeus and Maximus are sort of like engaged in this discourse, and then they're arguing, and he pulls the power
Mhm.
core out of the power armor, locking him in there. And we get into this. He gets into this situation where there's rad roaches approaching the power
He's
armor.
sweating to death in
and
there.
he's starting to freak out.
Yeah,
And
this was hard for me to watch a little bit as like a claustrophobe and like,
Oh, really?
Mhm.
dude, if I couldn't move my arms and I'm like getting hot, oh man, blah, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
These roaches are trying to figure out how to eat him.
Yeah, and then poof.
Yeah, and
This is
then
when
Lucy strolls up to save the day. And this is, if you remember, the last scene that we seen Lucy in episode 4, she was basically leaving the Super Duper Mart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She had given
Walton Goggins.
Goggins
His
his
meds.
medicine and was
And then she
like,
left.
kindness always wins kind of thing, the golden
Mhm.
rule, etc. And now
know-
she's more of her badass. She's her newfound self. She's a little more badass. She's got some Raider plates on and elbow pads and a
Yeah.
10mm pistol, I think she has now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we talked a lot in the last episode about Lucy's character development during that episode and how
That was a
she's just a
huge
little bit
development episode,
deadlier
yeah.
now. She's a little bit harder now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing is too, the name Lucy is so perfectly picked because if you've ever met anyone Lucy, like named Lucy, I don't even know a Lucy. I've never met a Lucy in my life.
I know multiple Lucys.
Of course you do, because New Mexico. But I feel like Lucy is a great name for someone who has a bit of like ignorant innocence kind of bestowed upon them. I feel like, because like my frame of reference is Lucille Ball, right? Who is
Mhm.
kind of innocent, ditzy.
An
and then-
ingenue. A bit of an ingenue.
Gosh, your vocabulary, Shalene. I'm jealous. But no, I just feel like with the name Lucy,
She
it's not
reads.
like. But I feel like it's not like I don't know. It's not like I just feel like the name really fits this kind of character
Mhm.
where it's not
Mhm.
something that exudes, masculinity or femininity. It's a very interesting name. I don't know. It just kind of struck me.
The one interesting subtle detail that I picked up on this scene is that as she's approaching, she shoots the
Ratty Boys.
sorry, no, there is a song that's playing called Robin in the Pine by Bonnie Guitar.
Mhm.
And the lyrics go something along the lines of there's a robin in the pine tree and spring is coming, a nest for two, you'll find two eggs of blue. And it plays as these two meet.
That is really interesting.
And
That's a good
I
catch.
wonder if it's like subtle foreshadowing for like
Absolutely, it is.
yeah.
Yeah. I also thought it was really interesting in this scene because the last time that they met, he was saving her. And it was this situation where, and she thought about him after they parted. Boy, that night sure was something, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And um, but now through the character development that she's gone through, she does not immediately trust him. She does not, you would
Mhm.
think the pre super duper Mark Lucy would have immediately tried to get him out of this
Yeah.
without any discussion.
Yeah. I love her hesitation here because he's like, can you help me get out of here? Someone stole my fusion core, and she's like, well, I mean, I really want to trust you, but I've kind of had a rough week.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, me too. And then he starts telling, she starts telling him, you know, you remember that man that I left with when you were fighting with the glasses and the whole body. She's like, yeah, well, I'm looking for his head now, and that's why I'm just passing through. And he's like, you have radiation sickness. Like, let me help you. Let me out of this armor, and I will help you.
Oh, that's right. He offers a rat away.
Yeah, I've got Radaway in the armor. So, he's like, you know, if you don't get this, you're gonna pass out.
You know,
And
I like that. Sorry, real quick. I like that nod because I was just thinking about this. You know how like when you get power armor, it immediately increases your carry weight in the game,
Mhm.
yeah,
but nothing in the lore ever says there's like hidden pockets on the dang thing. But I like the fact that like he's just like, yeah, I've got Radaway and the power armor, and it's like, oh yeah,
it
like
makes
it
sense because when you
might
hit
have
2 on the
crevasses.
keyboard,
It might have stuff to put things in, so
yeah,
therefore increases carry weight.
What
Yeah.
I was imagining when he talked about that was the that med suit from Fallout 3 that uses all of your stim packs and all of your medics
All
on
the
you when you're in
all the
combat
oh the
and it
auto.
yells at you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
It's
my
like,
gosh, I forgot about that.
it's like up and at him, soldier.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love though here that
Forgot about
he
that.
lies about who he is again. He
Mhm.
introduces himself as Knight Titus, and Lucy
He has
is
no
like,
reason to do that.
Why
he
did
has
he
no
do
reason to
that?
lie, right?
Because
She
his
has
intelligence
no
is zero.
interest
She doesn't
in
know about the rankings of the Brotherhood
so
of Steel. Like, she
stupid.
doesn't care, like, right? And he's like, well, there's a manual option on the back to open the power. Oh, you got it. Okay, never mind. Because
I thought
that's
she
her repair skill coming into
Right?
play.
Yeah.
well, and
But
she
didn't-
also talks about learning about the T60, right? Because
I was
she
gonna say I thought
identifies
she
it
had
as-
some
yeah.
schooling on
Mhm.
pre-war armor.
Well, she said the army started using these after the Battle of Anchorage, so
Right,
it was part of her education in the vault.
Yeah.
But
Well, pre October 27th.
making reference to
Armor.
old engineering manuals and
Mhm.
things like that. But she's like, I love it because she's like, wow, you even got the tempered lining, nice.
I love those little nods where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Anyways, so he gets out of the armor and he helps her, gives her the rat away, and then they just start talking about, you know, how she got there, what she's looking for, the head, and then I
They
think they
team up a
start
bit, yeah.
negotiating. He's like, well, why don't we travel together, right? Because you know we can work this out and we can both find the head. Yeah, and that's the end of the scene. And then we're in the vault with Norm and Chet.
Yeah, we're in there in Vault 32. They were exploring Vault 32 and they found all the shady stuff that was happening over there.
Yeah, and Norm's asking his intuitive questions. You know, how did the raiders get a hold of my mom's Pip-Boy, and maybe the logs were falsified, and
Chet
he's-
just wants to go home now.
yeah, he's like, I want to check out one more thing, and then he's looking at the computer, and he says it looks like they were trying to get into Vault 31, but why? And Chet just wants to go home, of course. And then they wander back to Vault 33, and Betty sort of catches them, and she's like, Norman, Chester, where have you two been?
Betty is terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
She's totally.
so scared of Betty.
And Chet's just like, we were planting potatoes. And she's like, well, run along now. And then, yeah. When is that? Oh, yeah. When they're walking back, right? And, yeah. And then we're back in the other scene with the Brotherhood of Steel, Maximus and Lucy McLean.
And Lucy had passed out, and Maximus hooked her up to the IV drip of Radaway.
Yes, that's correct. And
that's
what's that?
I was gonna say with Maximus, it's interesting because like for the longest time, he was hard for me to read. Like
Mhm.
I thought he was just kind of out for himself, but then he genuinely does want to do good by people.
Mhm.
He just doesn't know how to do it.
Yes.
Unless the answer is right there in front of him, where like, oh, she has passed out. I shall take care of her, but I will not tell her my real name, kind of thing. And so,
Well,
As
to be fair, he is low intelligence, and look what happened the last time he shared his real name.
well, yeah, but he also did it like, we gotta get our stories straight, rather
Mhm.
than being like, he was killed by a Yao Guai, so I took the
Because
soup.
he
Yeah,
had a
you know.
burgeoning friendship with someone. He shared the real name, and it all went to pot. So
And so
that
maybe
may
he's
be
just
part of why he's reluctant to do it.
Mhm.
But all I'm saying is I went through this series really hating Maximus and hating
Same.
his character. And then by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, I kind of understand that he
Mhm.
wants to do good by people, but he just doesn't understand. Because I don't think, even though the Brotherhood raised him, I don't think they educated him.
No, he's
Yes.
oppressed. That's all he knows.
And the Brotherhood raised him, but they didn't really raise him.
No, they abused
Right.
They
him.
kept him alive.
Yes.
Correct. And I feel like moments like this where she passes out and he doesn't leave her, he takes care of her, is just a testament to how he wants to help people.
Yeah, that's the Knight way. But I love that he's like, you know, my squire stole something vital to the Brotherhood. I have to go after him. And Lucy's like, good luck. And then she's like, wait a minute. And I love this because she's like going back to like, she's pulling from her intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, this Brotherhood of yours, you got any more of those T-60s? and he's like, yeah. And she's like, and guns? Like real, like I'm not messing around type guns? And he's like, yeah. She's like, listen, I got a tracker on my Pip-Boy, and you know, we can track the head, and we should work together. Let's travel together. And this is where we see the first union of these two. And it's more of a business deal, but it's
Mhm.
interesting because you can tell right away that there's something forming between the two of them.
Yeah.
I hope though that they don't have a moment. Like I just don't, those two, the chemistry to me isn't there. I just don't want them to.
I'm not sure. I feel like the chemistry was definitely there in the early scenes. Like she was crushing on him pretty hard when he
When he
was
was-
fighting the ghoul.
Sure.
She thought he was the coolest.
Well, yeah.
Super
She was
neat.
young and naive. She's been through Super Duper March. She's no longer young and naive.
I like that she gives him a little bit of a lesson, and she says, you know, in exchange for my help, I'll lend you my services for maybe 5 or 6 of your nights to save my father. And she says, look, you could have been lying about the medicine. You could have killed me when I collapsed and passed out, but you didn't. And I guess that I get that trust doesn't really come easily up here.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm from a place where the worst someone can do to you is forget to say thank you. And he's like, it sounds like a nice way to live. And she's like, it is. And then that's sort of the end of the scene. And then the Battle Hymn of the Republic score starts playing. And then they're back in Vault 32. So they sort of negotiated their travel together. I thought that this episode started weird. Like, it's bouncing back and forth between Vault 33 and this scene with Lucy and Maximus. It's odd. Let's talk about that a little bit more because I've got to roll through an ad. So what are your thoughts on them traveling together and trying to find the head?
The only thing that I want is hold I'm sorry. Your ad is a Guy Ritchie film that's like World
Nobody
War
can see the
II.
ad. Nobody can see
I
the
know, but it's like Guy Ritchie in World War II and the guy that played in Princess Bride, and I'm so enamored already.
ad. Yeah,
I'm
Ungenuinely
sorry.
Warfare.
Oh, I gotta see this movie.
It's pretty good. Amazon Prime.
I'm so sorry. Anyway,
We are not sponsored by Amazon, by the way.
no,
But we could
I
be.
just-
Call us.
Oh man.
I don't want any team ups except Lucy and the Goal. That's the only thing I want. That's
That's
all I
just
want from
because
this
you
show.
have a crush on Walton Goggins.
100%.
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. You want to live vicariously through Lucy Goosey.
Lucy Goosey.
Lucy. Okay.
So here we are back in the vault, and we're seeing the classroom. We're
Mhm.
seeing some very patriotic things in the classroom, and
And
it's sort of a reminder that Lucy grew up here. This was her childhood. So,
and they're getting ready for a little bit of an election in the vault. They've got to make a choice, and Betty goes over the PA. She says, good morning, Vault 33. This is Betty asking for your vote for overseer today. As you step into the ballot kiosk, remember, today is about the future of our vault, and more importantly, the future of civilization, Reclamation Day. One day, we will have the incredible opportunity to repopulate the earth and bring order and civility up to the surface. Who you choose today is an important step to accomplishing that mission. I have faith you will make the right choice. Thank you. And I love this little speech because it's like a little bit of a metaphor for like current day because it's like there's no possible way to save anything. And it's just so bright-eyed, and they just have so much hope, and they think that they're going to repopulate the planet, and it's going to be great. I also like that she abuses her power a little bit by using the PA system, but Reg and the other dude, they have to like put posters up around.
Woody. Their little posters are so
Oh,
cute.
dude. Like, yeah, I mean, it's super clear on, yeah. It's such a good analog to specifically, I guess, I relate to the United States voting system,
Mhm.
where sure, there's a few people you could vote for, but it's kind of clear who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily rigged per se, but
But it is.
Yeah.
it is. And even though it may be not rigged between like one person, but it's one of two, and that part's the rigged part. And
But-
so it's just kind of a cool analog to.
But
And I love this dude with the
this dude,
mustaches.
he has no
Oh, he
remor-
cracks me up.
he says the quiet part out loud. He's
He
like, I'm sorry,
does,
Reg.
no
I
filter."
just feel that in times of crisis, you need someone with experience. He's
and
like,
then at the end he goes, by the way, if you didn't get it, I'm voting for Betty. Like,
Yeah.
Like, yes, I picked up on that. Thank you.
he's just like Reg was like, I get it. I get it. I get it. And then he goes, by the way.
I love the carefully placed lyrics of the music that's playing in the background. Truth is marching. Truth is marching. And
I
I'm just
love
like,
how you
it's
pick up on
so
that
good.
stuff, Fender.
Oh yeah, it's
Same,
perfectly
same.
placed, right?
I never
Um,
picked up on any of the music other than, hey, that's a cool jam. And you're like, hey, the lyrics.
Well,
go
I
really
don't
well with the
pick up
scene.
on these things until I watch them a second time over,
True.
right? Like the tires that are inflated on all the friggin' cars. Like I didn't pick up on that the first time I
would've
watched
called
it.
that.
I noticed that the first time.
They were
I was-
filled with
I was
nitrogen,
angry about
not
it.
oxygen. You know?
Anyways,
I mean, those people did not hit a boulder with their car. They did not. Oh
Um,
dear.
Anyways,
And
then
even okay, can we just go back to the fact doesn't no, I didn't get to rewatch this one recently, so I may be remembering this wrongly, but didn't Reg also vote for Betty?
I'm pretty certain he did.
yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
think he did. It may show here what he checks off. Reg McPhee. Yeah, he votes for Betty possibly. Yeah, he votes for
He
Betty.
votes for Betty.
Yeah. I love it. It's so good.
Oh, that really cracked me up.
Then
good
we are back with Lucy and Maximus, and she's all optimistic, you know, she's like, we're gonna catch up to them, and but she's like, so can you tell me what's happened in the last 200 years? And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, just the last 200 years, like a quick rundown. She's like, I knew about the Great War and the bombs falling and the 320 years of American history before then, but I just need help with the last 200 years after the bombs fell. And then Maximus says, well, the bombs fell when I was a kid. And is that what they tell you when you're in the Brotherhood? And he says, no, you're the one who grew up in a box underground. Also, you thought that you would show up to some warlord with no armor, no help, and just expect him to just turn over a hostage to you? Like, do you really think that that would have worked? And she was like, I had the head. Like, the head was going to be my saving grace.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but you don't even know what's in it. And she's like, well, that's true. Which is like the first glimmer of intelligence that we see from Maximus. But
I
yeah,
would say that he has survival instinct.
Yes.
He does not
We
have
definitely
intelligence.
see some street smarts coming out here pretty quick.
mm-hmm. And I,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like this exchange because, you know, she's like, you know, I come from a place where the world is what you make of
He
it.
comes from a land down under.
And he's like, okay, that is not what it's like up here. And she's like, we're naive down there. And she kind of knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Again, super duper March.
Yeah.
Changed everything.
And I like how she's like, up until I was 6, I really thought that the big light on our farm was the sun, which is that giant projector in the vault that's like, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, they just have this good
Yeah, this whole
exchange
scene was
walking
good.
down these.
Is this when they get to the bridge?
Yes, and I
Mm.
like that she also calls back to the scene with her mom,
Yeah.
saying that she used to take me to play under that light in the field, and I swear you could feel the sun baking on your skin. It's just this really pleasant memory that she has on her. That's actually a weird juxtaposition.
What do you mean?
Sun baking on my skin versus like radiation damage,
Mhm.
like burning you to a crisp. Maybe no.
Well, I took that as foreshadowing. Like when she's like,
It
I swear I
definitely
can feel the
was.
sun. I was like, she's been outside before.
Maybe you
Ooh.
could.
So yeah, I mean,
For her mother, you mean?
Mhm.
right? They let the cat out of the bag
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit there.
That's a good
with, like,
observation. I didn't
okay,
pick up on that.
she's definitely been outside with her mom, and
Yeah.
you know,
So we're back in the vault. Norm is going through his computer.
I want to back up here because they're talking a little bit more. They're walking across the bridge, and she says, you know, after my mom is gone, I realized that it was her that made everything feel so real.
Mm.
And then there's like
Again,
a pause, and then
foreshadowing.
she's like, so like Earth is round or Earth is flat? What are you guys on these days? And then that's sort of the end of the scene, which I think is kind of funny.
and that's a very Fallout thing where they enter a heavy topic and then
Mhm.
they leave with comedy, like Fisto.
And then we're back in Vault 33. Norm is poking around. He is on Betty's terminal in the overseer's office, presumably Betty.
Oh, is this where he finds out where all the overseers came from?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Marianne says, it is my honor to announce that with 98% majority, Betty has been elected Vault Overseer. And they have a Jell-O mold. I love that the Jello mold is like now a main character of
constant.
the show.
Yes.
It's like every vault has a constant, even if they're like a control vault, and this one's just a Jello mold.
Every
I
time
feel like
see a
I need to
Jell-O
make a
mold,
Jello cake for Arjun's next birthday.
yes, and then
So much Jello.
I will come to the birthday, and when I get there, I'm gonna be like,
You-
get that Jell mold out of here.
You, what was it with the 50s and just putting everything in aspic? Like what?
Right? Like
what was
hot
that?
dogs, pickles, everything.
Hot dog,
Everything.
yeah, pineapples, just everything in aspic.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. They figured out a new thing and they're like, put everything in it: fish, shrimp.
Yeah, it was like a mark of fanciness.
It
If you could
really
afford gelatin, then you were doing well.
It's
It really
really
was.
interesting. Like the writers of the show, the first 20 minutes, I mean, we're halfway through the episode, and all they've been doing is bouncing around very
It's true.
quickly
You're
back
right.
and
You're
forth
right.
between Vault 33 and Lucy and Max. And here we are again with Lucy and Max. They're approaching a bridge, and she says, you know, like,
I love this scene.
so pre-war technology, like you guys use pre-war technology and like find that's part of like the Brotherhood, that's what you're about. And he's like, I mean, yeah. When you say it like that, it's kind of weird, but and then they hear like metal creaking and they
Mhm.
realize that they're not alone on this bridge.
This is a good scene too.
Yes.
Mhm. And this is the part where Maximus really steps up.
Yep.
Yes.
He's got the survival instincts.
What I love about this scene is that the other couple, this is like a callback to the classic spaghetti western. You know? Like ooh, ooh, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And the
Dun.
guy's got like a cowboy hat on, and they've got big jackets with fur and stuff, and it's like this showdown, right? And they've got to cross this bridge, like both of the groups of people have to cross. And she's like, are you armed? And the guy's like, no. And then he's like, yes, we are. And he's like, are you armed? And she's like, no. And we're just gonna walk on by. That's okay with you? And they're sort of yelling to each other across the bridge. And he's like, it's fine. And then he says to Lucy, give me your gun. Maximus says to Lucy, give me your gun. And she's like, what? No. Because golden rule, right? Kill them with
Mhm.
kindness.
We're playing it fair.
Yes. And
They're
the
not even
other-
armed.
and the other people are like, okay, well, we're going to start walking towards you. There's no one here but us and them. So, and then they're like, well, it's not safe. Give me your gun, Lucy. And she's like, well, they said that they're not armed. And he's like, no, they're lying.
Just like we were.
Mhm.
And she's like,
Yeah.
you're lying. She's like getting mad at him because he said that they weren't armed, but he's like, give me your gun, right? And they're like, what's going on over there? And he's like, yeah, we're just being careful. You can come on through. And then I love Lucy tries to like diplomatically navigate her way out of this situation because she's like,
Mhm.
okay, I think we're all just feeling a little tension,
Right.
right? Yeah, like a little stress. So why don't we just all take a deep breath? And the other guy's like, what the F are you talking about? Like, you know? And she's like, oh, okay. We're going to do this. How about on the count of 3, we all raise our arms up and then he's like, we said we didn't have any weapons. And they're like, well, neither did we, but okay, can we just give it a try? And then they're like slowly walking across the bridge with their arms up.
And isn't it when they see her Pit Boy, that's when they get the idea to draw?
no,
think.
it's when they get closer and Maximus recognizes that they're fiends.
Sure.
And
I thought
he
that
says,
they had seen. Okay.
should have known. I mean, it may be that if
Could be
we can
wrong.
find the scene here, it's probably. Yeah, she says she sees the Pip Boy. You're right, the crazy drugged out girl.
Yeah, because that seems to be like a recognition of like
Look at those
technology
teeth.
and money.
Does she remind you of Cricket from Fallout 4?
Yes, that is
don't
really
remember.
good makeup, by the way.
That
I
is
don't
what
remember
got them an
Cricket.
Emmy nod right there.
The teeth.
Mhm.
See, and this is what I love about like they're trying to capture that Western moment where they
Mhm.
have the,
With the
zoom in
eyes.
on the
Yeah,
eyes. It's
yeah.
so good, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They draw their weapons. He grabs Lucy's firearm out of her holster and shoots the girl in the neck, and then shoots the other guy. Maximus takes a bullet, and now he's like, "See, look, armed. Should have
Mhm.
known." And she's like, "You've been shot," and he's like, "It's just a scratch. Happens all the time." And then
Yeah.
she's like, "What's a fiend?" And then he's like, it's people who eat people. And she's like, "I hate it up here," which is the title of our episode. Yes. And then I think that's the end of this scene. We're back in the vault. Woody is putting up posters on the walls, and what's
I
his
thought he was
name?
taking him down.
Davy.
Taking him down.
He's
Yeah.
taking him down. Davy is like, "You ran a great campaign," and Woody's like, "I know. I must," and he's like, "You must have put up 10 posters."
I love how innocent the vault is. Like it's just such a good like I don't know, juxtaposition to the wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't know you really get in the games, but you definitely
Yes.
get
Yeah,
in
yeah. He's like, "That's what you got to do. You got to put up a few posters and then just let democracy run its course."
because like I genuinely I feel like the closest you get to the juxtaposition of the innocence of the vaults to what the wasteland is
Mm,
was the opening to Fallout 76. I would say is more innocent and hopeful than even Fallout 3 was.
yeah.
Because Fallout 3, it's just like normal life, and then everything hits the fan. Where like Fallout
Mhm.
76 is like you're gonna
Yeah.
reclaim the wasteland, and I guess it's that idea of what's coming in the
Yeah.
wasteland.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, you guys know that I'm a bit of a movie buff. I often speak in quotes as a second language. um, and there's something extremely subtle here. It may be a stretch, but I think that it actually is sort of foreshadowing. And I think it's a callback, or maybe an Easter egg, if you will, to Master and Commander with Russell Crowe, because Davy says, "I ran once, and then that Weevil famine came, and I lost to none other than Hank McLean. And you know what they say: when things look glum, vote for somebody from Vault 31." But the Weevil famine comment. There's a quote in Master of Commander where Russell Crowe says, "In the service, one must always choose the lesser of two weevils." Um, and I'm like, is that like a callback to Master and Commander? Because like it's literally choosing the lesser of two evils in this election. It's a bit of a stretch, but Hank
What does it
McLean, like, he is this questionable character from Vault
I
31.
think you're reaching. I think you're reaching.
Anyways,
Bit of a stretch Armstrong there.
I know.
Mhm.
And then again, he's like, "I voted for Betty."
He's
like, so proud that he just keeps telling everyone.
Yes, plainly you voted for Betty. Everyone voted for Betty.
We
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yeah. And then he's kind of like, so then it's Chet, right? We switch
Chet.
scenes over to Chet. They're in the house with the baby, and he's waving this rattle like
He is such a good stepdad already.
I love it. It's so good. And he's like, "You don't think it's weird that we always elect an overseer from Vault 31? This is Norm telling this to Chet."
Mhm.
And they did the exact same thing in Vault 32. And Steph comes in, and she's singing or whatever in the background. And Chet's like, "Honestly, no. By all accounts, Vault 31 has more resources, a better education system. And, they got that phrase, when things look glum, Vote 31. And
That
and-
phrase, by all accounts, is that something he actually said?
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
just interesting to me how easily we accept something because all accounts say it. That's just
well,
interesting.
he reinforces that by saying it's a powerful slogan. You think 200 years of coincidence comes down to a slogan? So he's kinda like-
yeah,
Yeah.
It is a good slogan.
it's a great slogan.
And then he's
It's
like, you might
worked.
as well be asking why everyone prefers Jello cake to apple pie. I don't know why, they just do. Yeah, anyways,
I hate how analogous this is.
we also learn here that Steph is from Vault 31
We
Mhm.
do.
and that she comes into the room. She's like, "Oh, hello, Norm. I was actually just heading out," he says. And he turns to Chet and he says, "We'll talk about this later."
Why do you think Chet has so many teapots?
I don't
There are
know.
at least 3
You're right.
teapots in that corner. It seems like an excessive amount of teapots.
I don't know.
Maybe
Good
he has a thing for
observation, though.
teapots.
Yeah.
Can't vault dwellers collect, Shalene?
Well, I mean, they have limited resources, so
Yeah,
I
true.
feel like you'd want to spread those teapots around. I don't know.
So then Chet's like, "Steph, how is Vault 31 different from here? What did your dad tell you?" And he's like, "Well, not much actually. It's why I'm asking." And she's like, "Gee, I don't know. Maybe the mashed potatoes were a little bit better." That's what my dad used to say. And then he's like, "Must be true then."
Yeah, just took it at face value. By the way, am I the only one that really wants Steph to like come back in like a trench coat with
Oh,
like an eye patch
absolutely.
and be a complete and total like
Yes.
badass?
Oh
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. All right, cool.
She's actually one of my favorite characters, even
Oh,
though she's
yeah.
plainly a little shady.
Mhm.
100% one of my favorite
Oh yeah,
characters.
but like I just want her to be, I just want her to become like this like not a raider leader, but like this leader of just like
Mhm.
I mean, she already
Militia.
looks badass with this hair cap and the bathrobe and the eye
Mhm.
patch. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's plainly the toughest person in the room.
Yes.
In the vault,
Mhm.
arguably Betty, but yeah.
I think she could
mean,
take Betty just
she
with
Oh,
the
100%.
advantage of youth.
she took an AR-15 to a guy with a fork in her eye.
Mhm.
So,
True.
yeah. Anyways,
That was the moment that really sold that they weren't pulling punches with this show when they forked a pregnant lady in the eye.
yes.
That was
Yes.
And then she laid waste with a sten.
Anyways, Norm leaves Chet's place, and Betty comes on the PA system and says, "In my first edict as overseer, I will be hosting a vault-wide meeting about the future of Vault 32 tomorrow at 10 a.m." And that's the end of the scene. And then we switch over to Maximus and Lucy once again, and they're in Shady Sands. They're standing in front of a big billboard. It says, "Welcome to Shady Sands, first capital of the new California Republic. Established 2142." This billboard is awesome. I wonder if they did it with effects. Do you think, or is
yeah,
this like a
I
prop?
think this is
Yeah.
Do
a
you think
this
this
is
a
not a
prop?
practical effects. This is done with CGI.
Yeah.
Anyways, looks
But-
good. And yeah, and she's like, "This is a thing," and he's like, "You never heard of the new California Republic?" And she's like, 34,000 people lived here after the war, and he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What about Reclamation Day?"
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "The entire purpose of my vault was to come to the surface one day and restart civilization. It's Reclamation Day. It's what keeps us all going." And like this is like her world is crumbling, right? It's all
Seeing that
coming down.
civilization has carried on without
Mhm.
her.
She's like, "It already happened without us." And he's like, "Well, if it makes you feel any better, it didn't work out."
Poor Maximus.
And she's like, "Well, what happened, you know?" Like, and he's like, "It's the same thing that always happens. Everybody wants to save the world. They just disagree on how they want to save it." And she's like, "I wonder if anyone survived." And he's like, "I did." And there's like distant
Mhm.
explosions. And they keep moving.
And then it makes sense why he said that the bombs dropped when he was a
Yeah.
child.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
Because for him, they did.
They did.
Yes, yeah. And then she remarks about his bullet wound, that it's more than just a graze. He's starting to get a little bit loopy because he's lost quite a bit of blood. And she's like, "We've got to get you something from somewhere." And he's like, "But we need to get the head." She's like, "The head can wait. Come on, I've got a plan." So then they start walking through Shady Sands, and they find, first of all, the giant crater that is
Mhm.
Shady Sands, and this is an awesome scene. Definitely awesome. More cars with inflated
Mhm.
tires. Um, but then they stumble.
I love that's your thing now.
I know and then they stumble across a clinic, like a hospital. Um, and she's just gonna like walk in there, and he's like, wait, where are you going? Like there could be anything in there. And she's like, yeah, like a first aid kit. Right? The classic like scavenger, right? And he's like, Lucy, wait, like don't go in there. So she goes into the hospital, and there's
Vault-Tec symbol right there.
and that's the closeout of the scene. And then we're over in um Vault 33. But before we go, it says on the doors of the hospital, Research and Development Hawthorne Medical Laboratories.
And you see the logo there is a modified Vault-Tec logo. I didn't
Yes.
catch that the first time through.
I didn't either till
Yeah.
just now, and that spells no bueno.
Yes. And so they're inside the hospital, and he doesn't know where Lucy went. He can't see her, but he sees these doors. He walks through the doors because he sees a hallway beyond the doors. But then
Medical supplies.
he realizes that the hallway beyond the doors is actually just a sticker on the wall. It's not a real door. And then there's trap doors, and he falls down, and yeah. And then
It's a trap.
it's a trap. Oh, and now we're in an ad. So what do you think about the hospital?
Well, I mean, obviously the hospital was a trap. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
they couldn't have telegraphed
knew.
any better that the hospital was a trap. And I feel like Maximus knew that the hospital was a trap. The only one who didn't know was Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it. She wants to help him because he helped her, so she feels obligated.
Mhm.
I don't think she really fully understands. Clearly, she does not fully understand the extent that Vault-Tec is involved with shenaniganry.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Well, she still associates Vault-Tec with truth, justice, and
Sure.
the American way.
and
Mhm.
and I don't think Maximus really understands the involvement of Vault-Tec, but he does understand that, you know, you can't trust things.
He's got that street smart sense of knowing when danger is there,
Yes. Then
which is always
we're in the
in
new
this world.
scene in Vault 33. They're walking to the meeting place, which is the atria between Vault 33 and Vault 32, I believe, or 31.
Mhm.
And she says, thank you everyone for coming. It's really important that you're all here as a family so we can rebuild together. And she says that she spoke with the overseer of Vault 31. And we agreed that these vaults of ours are too sacred to leave empty, which is why I'm announcing a resettling campaign. Some of us will stay to rebuild Vault 33, and others will be moving to Vault 32 in the coming weeks to start anew. And then Dinah Washington very eloquently starts playing in the background. What a difference a day made. 24 little hours brought the sun and flowers.
This one's amazing.
And just on and on. Very good.
Amazing.
And Betty continues talking about, we've got to remember how good we have it here in 31, 32, and 33. 3 democracies, 3 vaults, separated to prevent the spread of threats, but connected to aid one another. And they're all kind of like, huh? Yeah, I guess so.
And
we're the
Chet is
lucky
so
ones.
scared right now.
Chet,
He's so scared.
And Norm is just like, he is not buying any of this, right? Like, he's just not impressed.
Yeah.
And Betty continues on. And, she says, great job cleaning up. The Raiders destroyed so much.
It is amazing because yesterday they were over here and there was death and destruction. And today it's idyllic.
Yes. And Betty says to Norm, the Raiders destroyed so much, they cleaned up, but they didn't destroy our spirits. And meanwhile, Norm is having flashbacks to like the bloody bodies that he's seen
Mhm.
and all the things. He
Mm.
goes
The horrors that were here.
Mhm.
And the smashed overseer terminal. He's
Yes.
like,
And so they're in the overseer's office of Vault 32. Now, remember, Norm was just in there, but Betty
Mhm.
doesn't know. She comes in and he
well,
says
I feel like Betty knew.
she kind of knew. He asks her, Betty, when my mother died, what happened to her Pip-Boy? And Betty says, well, it was buried with her. And he's like, are you sure about that? And she's like, yes, I buried her myself. And me and your
You
father.
sure about that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I think that's the end of,
Cementing Betty as a dastardly character.
that's sort of the end of this scene where they're talking about this. Then we switch back over to the scene between Lucy and Maximus, and he says, where are we? And this person says, it's okay, we'll be all right. What is this place? We're in the best place in the world. We're in a vault, Lucy says. The
Mhm.
best place in the world. And Brooke Benton starts playing It's Just a Matter of Time. Someday, some way, you'll realize that you've been blind. Yes, darling, you're going to need me again. It's just a matter of time. So I think that may be speaking to like the relationship they formed and how Lucy kind of depends on Maximus as sort of a Sherpa of sorts.
And also,
Yeah.
it's really funny here because it is a sudden twist because Maximus has been the one with experience, the one who knew what to expect, but now he no longer has that position of power.
Yes.
Lucy's the one who knows what life in a vault is like.
Yes. And I love the sign on the wall that says caution falling objects.
There's something very what's it called? Very Aperture Labs about that, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of the Fallout quirkiness, but they reveal a whole working vault and what appears to be a working vault. And finally, Lucy is back in her element. She knows exactly what she needs to do, and that is the closeout of the show. So, overall impressions, what do you think?
I mean,
I thought it was a good episode. This one, they needed a bridge because the last episode was so big in terms of character development that they needed a bridge. But something that was very that I didn't like about this episode was lack of Walton Goggins. His
100%.
story has been some of my favorite parts of this whole series, both his
Mhm.
pre-war and post-war story.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him not at all, it was disappointing for me in this episode.
I do like the credits in this scene. They show a book called The New California Republic, written by Kate Williams. And this is a fictitious author who wrote a book about the NCR that became part of the school curriculum in the vaults. Yeah. Anyways, Rick, what are your thoughts on the show overall, the episode?
Same. I mean, it was definitely it was not a filler episode. It was definitely an episode where they had to move the story along. And I feel like if they didn't pop back and forth between the vault and up on the surface, it wouldn't have kept interest because not a ton happened, but a lot more happened in the vault, I guess I would say, where they figured out the Vault 31 stuff.
They had
There's
an
some more
election.
like shenaniganry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where like on the surface you have just conversations in the development of Lucy and Maximus's relationship
Mm-hmm.
and that one incident at the bridge. But it was definitely a good episode. It wasn't bad. It was just very, and I don't think I really thought it was jumpy until you mentioned something.
Can I ask you guys a question? If you had been there, who would you have voted for?
Betty.
Betty?
Yeah.
How about you, Vendor?
I don't know.
I'm voting for Woody because I think he's precious.
Aw.
Well, I do love his affinity for Jello molds.
Yes.
I don't know enough about Reg. I don't know. That's a tough question. It probably would have been Betty, just because I would have known that she was gonna win anyway, so it didn't matter.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, carry on.
If I had abstained from voting, then it would have been known because there's like how many people in the vault,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's
20.
like, I voted. Who didn't vote?
And there's just vendor.
Yeah, there's one person that didn't vote. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Indeed.
Well, 2 weeks from now, you can expect another episode of that Fallout show. We're doing episode 6. Are you away, Shalene? You're away?
I think I'm away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next week you're away, and the following week I'm away. So probably no podcasts during that time.
Any gameplay from Fallout from either of you?
None for me.
None for me either. And Rick, you've been in Cyberpunk. So we're going to skip over gameplay. Let's hop into our lore. And I will hand the mic over finally to you, Shalene.
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the T60 power armor. This is a very basic, very, very high level overview. T60 power armor was used heavily after the Battle of Anchorage, which I think Rick mentioned earlier in the show. It was developed by Westech as part of Westech's long-standing defense contract. It is an evolution of the T45. And this power armor came into service mere months before the apocalypse, and it was used on the domestic front, enforcing order within the nation, not only in the international wars. At the time of the Great War, it was the most advanced model of power armor to see extensive use. The T60 is featured heavily in Fallout 4. There are several suits aboard the Prydwen, and it is the power armor that Paladin Danse wears. You can get them from several other places in Fallout 4, including Rowdy with the Atom Cats. They have a special paint job, which is fun. The T60 power armor was the first asset that was created for Fallout 4 back in 2008, and it was primarily designed by Istvan Peli. T60 also appears in Fallout 76 and obviously that other Fallout show. There are multiple variants, and the one in the show has some previously unseen modifications, including the rising faceplate that allows the face to be seen without removing the helmet. Also, the jets in the forearms and the integrated water storage unit in the back are modifications that we have not seen in the video games. The ability to lock the user inside the armor also didn't seem to exist in the games. That seems to be an invention of the show. And I also wanted to read this little quote from The Art of Fallout 4. Our primary goal with the power armor was to make it feel less like a suit that you'd wear and more like a vehicle that you'd operate. This design began as a reimagining of the T45D, but it was different enough that we dubbed it the T60. This way, we could bring the T45 back as its own variant. Although the look was settled on early, some details and proportions were revisited when we adapted the power armor to work as a modular system of plates that attached to a standardized endo frame. In this early version, the arms and legs needed more bulk to make room for the operator and the frame. So that's
Personally,
it.
I like what they did with the power armor in Fallout 4 and 76. I think that's what makes the most sense lore-wise, of like it's a suit that you step into and acts as a tank. I really like that.
Does make more sense, but it also made me hate power armor.
Why?
I have no interest in using it. None.
I love that
I get
I
that
didn't
part.
learn about certain things or features about the power armor until I watched the show. Like the loops on the shoulders.
Mhm.
I didn't actually realize that those were for like harnessing the power
The
armor
service
in the
chains?
power armor
That was
station.
pretty cool. That was
And-
pretty cool.
The clips on the scribe's uniform were for like,
Mhm.
clipping like the baby hauler on the power armor.
I love that they're like baby wearing the scribes.
That is a very interesting concept. That's for
Oh,
sure.
So good. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Well, this time we do not have a weapon of the week, but we do have an item of the week.
Ooh, an
Um,
item.
Oh,
I wanted to
let me
talk-
roll the bumper for it anyways.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good.
There it is.
Carry on.
Such a good bumper. So I wanted to talk about Radaway because of its importance to this particular episode. It was such a major plot point. This consumable appears in every Fallout game, and it is a chemical solution that bonds with radioactive particles and removes them from the user's system. Unlike Rad-X, it is designed to be used after exposure. Radaway is administered intravenously using an IV bag or a syringe, and it is one of the only ways to remove accumulated radiation. It takes time to remove,
Oh,
and it has some
no.
side effects. It's a potent diuretic, and it can cause nausea, diarrhea, stomach pains, and headaches. And the compound is addictive in the isometric Fallout games, but not in the more modern games. That's
Ooh, that's interesting.
a few fun facts about Radaway.
Well, that is our lore and our item for the week.
Congratulations on being prepared for the future.
And don't forget to join us in a few weeks. Shalene will be away for the next episode. Maybe Rick and I can just do it, but I kind of don't want to do it without you, Shalene.
Thanks.
And
Shalene
we'll be
helps.
covering episode 6 of that other Fallout show. Don't forget,
I should rewatch that.
next Friday, I am not available to do a show. It is my partner's birthday, so we will be celebrating birthday things. We will keep you posted as to whether or not Shalene decides to do a show.
Is there going to be a Jello cake?
No, I'm making apple pie.
But
Literally.
people prefer Jello cake to apple pie. Why?
I'm actually making an apple pie because it's
That's
Carlo's favorite.
amazing.
I know.
I'd love that.
Anyways, any closing announcements or remarks? No? Well, thank you all for listening. Don't forget to find us on social media at That Fallout Show on X, at We Just Love Games, at Shalene L, and myself, Aventatron N. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/That Fallout Show, facebook.com/group/That Fallout Show, and facebook.com/We Just Love Games and /group/We Just Love Games. We love to hear from you. Send us some mail in the Mail Stack channel in the Discord, or email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. We will shout you out. You can find the show if you miss it live on various podcast platforms, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen. Don't forget, we record live every other Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. And thank you all for listening. Shalene, what is your last word?
I voted for Betty.
Okie dokie.
We'll always have the time to talk about the wastelands, talk about the lore, talk about surviving radiation storms, talk about the doubts, talk about the fears, talk about the game we all love. It's Fallout through the years. That Fallout Show.